I'm confident that Avengers, Doomsday and Secret Wars will replicate Infinity War and Endgame's success for one $5 billion reason. The stakes are high for Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars, but their defectors' MCU track record suggests that both Phase 6 movies will be just as good as Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers, Endgame if not more. There's a lot riding on the MCU's next two Avengers movies, which will follow Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers, Endgame's massive success. Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars will prove whether the Multiverse Saga's complex multiversal setup was worth it all along despite several significant changes in Marvel's plans and a few box office flops. The Multiverse Saga hasn't been as cohesive as the Infinity Saga. Phases 4 and 5 set up Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror to be the next big bad, but Kang will be replaced by Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom in Avengers, Doomsday. Phases 4 and 5 also haven't established a new Avengers team after the original dissolved following the events of Avengers, Endgame, and few characters have come close to gaining the level of prominence of Chris Evans' Captain America and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Still, these obstacles may be no match for the Russo brothers. Joe and Anthony Russo made their MCU debut with Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which continues to be one of the highest regarded movies in the entire MCU. The Russo brothers' next three movies were all team-up movies just as well reviewed: Captain America Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers, Endgame, rounding out the Russo brothers' unparalleled four-movie Marvel streak, which amounts to more than $5 billion in earnings. All three of the Russo brothers' MCU team-up movies brought dozens of MCU characters together, all of them from different backgrounds and at different points in each of their respective journeys. Although all three movies' casts are huge, the Russo brothers gave each character their fair share of screen time and narrative weight. Captain America, The Winter Soldier isn't exactly a team-up movie, but it did show the director's potential for big casts. In Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson teams up with Steve Rogers for the first time, Natasha Romanoff provides her support, and Steve Rogers works with and defies S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Most of these characters and the titular Winter Soldier were later key to the Russos' next three MCU movies. One of the biggest challenges Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars might be facing is the MCU's current lack of an official Avengers team. However, the Avengers' absence shouldn't be a problem for Joe and Anthony Russo. After all, none of the Russo brothers' previous three MCU team-up movies have begun with a unified Avengers team from the get-go. Captain America, Civil War brought together an already incomplete group of Avengers and split them into two teams immediately after. Captain America, Infinity War started with the divided Avengers fighting Thanos on their own, and Avengers, Endgame only assembled Earth's mightiest heroes in the final battle. Even if the context had permitted it, the Avengers probably wouldn't have appeared all together on screen in Captain America, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers, Endgame. There are only so many characters who can share the screen at the same time, and any big team will inevitably end up splitting into smaller groups. Team Captain America, Team Iron Man, Steve Rogers' Secret Avengers, Iron Man's improvised Guardians of the Galaxy team-up, the Snapped Survivors and the Snapped. All of these groups offered each individual character the opportunity to build new relationships and contribute to their respective movies in ways that would have been impossible otherwise. While Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War and Avengers, Endgame are packed with major characters and high-octane action scenes, all four of them also end with intimate showdowns. Captain America, The Winter Soldier's final battle ends with Bucky Barnes saving Steve Rogers from drowning after Steve lets him escape. Captain America, Civil War ends with Cap sparing Iron Man and Black Panther sparing Zemo. Avengers, Infinity War ends with the surviving Avengers processing their defeat, and Avengers, Endgame's final battle ends with Iron Man single-handedly defeating Thanos' army by sacrificing his life. The Russo brothers have repeatedly showcased their ability to balance ensemble casts and create groundbreaking action sequences in their MCU movies, but Joe and Anthony Russo don't focus exclusively on action. Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars need just as much heart as the Russos' previous Marvel films, especially considering that most of Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret War's main characters haven't had the chance to build a solid character arc throughout the Multiverse Saga.